Okay guys, welcome back to episode 8, I think it is, of our Asteroids game. We're nearly done with the series. We've only got, I think, 3, maybe 4 episodes left. Today we're going to be doing something very simple, also very quick hopefully. We only got about a couple of lines of code to write. And if you watched the previous episode, you saw that, or you know that we have to fix this issue where we have our asteroids collide into our player as soon as they respawn and kill them straight away sometimes. That's something we don't want. We want our player to actually be able to move around the scene for a few seconds through our asteroids, just so that you can actually play the game and get like a score instead of being killed every single time you collide with an asteroid straight after you respawn. So that's something we're going to do today. Very simple. All we have to do is we have to go into our collision matrix and turn a few things off, and then swap the layer of our player a couple of times. So having said that, let's get straight into it and jump into our game. So here's our game. Obviously you can see, if I'll show you what I'm talking about. But if we play the game now quickly, you can see that if we get some asteroids here, if we die and then we spawn again, you can see that we collide with asteroids again, and obviously you get killed again straight away. That's not what we want. We want there to be a little bit of delay so that you can actually move out of the center of the screen and to somewhere safe, because as you can see, the majority of the asteroids are traveling into the center of the screen. So let's go ahead and do that. So I've brought up, where is it, a bit of a project or an episode plan. You can see it's very short. All we have to do is turn off the collisions, and in that involves 5 checkpoints that we have to tick off. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go into our player, I think it is, and add in a new layer. So let's go and create a new layer. We'll create it in layer 10. Actually, let's just use our empty layer 3 here. What do we want to call it? I'm going to call it ignore collision, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it straight into there. So that is going to be our new a new layer that we change to, and whenever we have this layer attached to our player, we are not going to allow any collisions with the asteroids. And then after maybe say 2 or 3 seconds, we'll go back and place our player layer back onto our player, if that makes sense. You'll see now. So we can go ahead and tick that off. So now in our physics 2D we need to turn off the collisions. So now I need to remember how to get this. So I think it is file build settings, and then player settings, and then physics 2D. There we go. So here you can see our collision matrix, and here we have got our ignore collisions here. So what we want to do is we want to take off the ignore collisions colliding with the asteroid. So we're going to untick that, and that should be it. So now we shouldn't get our our player colliding with any asteroids when it has the ignore collisions or layered onto it, I guess. So we can go ahead and get rid of that, and then we can get back onto our player and see now we have our ignore collisions over there. So that's good. So what's next? Okay, so now we have to figure out where we're going to do this. So I didn't open up my player script, so I'm going to do that now. So now we have to do, whenever we respawn our player, we need to somehow change the layer of our player from player to ignore collisions. And then after a delay, which we'll create, we will go and revert it back to player instead of ignore collisions. So whenever we respawn, which is in our game manager, I think, yes it is. So this is where we want to do it. So in our respawn, all we have to do here, oh, what am I doing? I'm getting confused. Let's bring this into here. It's in the wrong screen. So like I said before, in our respawn here, this method here, we want to change the layer of our player over here, and then after a delay call another method that will revert that layer back to the player. So let's go do that. So here all we want to say is this dot player dot what is it, game object, not manager, game object dot, what is it? I think it's layer is equal to. So here we want to go and change it to that layer that we just created, which would be layer mask dot name to layer, and then we need to give it that exact name. So I think I still have it in my clipboard, so I'll paste it in there. So that will change the current layer from player to layer to ignore collisions. So that's going to sort that out. So let's go and see if that works. To do that, we can go and play the game, and if this does work and the collisions don't allow you to collide with the asteroid, you should see that when we play the game and you die and respawn again, the player will be allowed to move in like through the asteroids. So let's go see if that works, and I have a feeling that's not going to work. So let's go collide, we get destroyed. So now we need to try and, okay, so we're still getting destroyed. So let's have a look and see. So we still have ignore collisions on there. So let's go and see what's wrong here. So add layer, we'll get rid of that, we'll put it down here, paste that into there, and then go back into our file, build settings, player settings, player 2 or physics 2D, and then I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm going to just disable everything except for our, actually that's not going to work, so I'm going to disable, put everything back but enable our asteroids. So we're going to untick that, and hopefully that will work now. So we'll save that, if not we'll have to come back and disable all of them. So let's go and press play and hopefully see something different, because obviously nothing ever works in the first time, you have to keep trying. So let's see what game is playing. We can collide with an asteroid, there we go. Can we collide with another one? Okay, so we still died over there. So let's see what's happening. Let's see. I'm going to put this up there. Cool, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it once more time. First of all, I'm going to press play, and then I'm going to bring up file. Okay, you can't do that yet. So I'm going to bring up the collision matrix again, if I can get there. There we go. So file, build settings, and we'll see if that collides with an asteroid eventually. It should get destroyed. So we'll bring that up, and there. Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable these quick, just like that, and see if that works. But I might have to start the game again, obviously, because we've run out of lives. So let's do that, and then we might have to disable all of these again, obviously, because things don't save when you're in the gameplay mode. So let's do that, and then hopefully collide. Okay, so that does work. So let's see. No collisions. Okay, cool. So that's working. So we'll leave that for now, and then let me just try something and put the collider on and see. Does that also work? Okay, so that works. So hopefully that will allow us to not move out of the scene. Let's try and see if that works. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. So all we want to tick is our collider. So let's go out of gameplay mode, and then we'll have to do that again. So player settings, physics 2D, and we'll untick everything except for our collider. So that way the asteroid won't collide with our player, but the player will still collide with our colliders around the edge of the screen, so you can't move off the scene, out of the scene. So what's next is, the next thing we want to do is we want to create a delay. So back in our code here, let's create another delay. So we'll copy and paste that, and here we'll say let's just say layer change delay, and that will set to 3 seconds as well. So and then in here what we want to do is, first off we want to create a new method. So let's go private, void, and then we'll say change layer, or we'll say change player layer. like that, and then in here the same thing we want to do as we change the same way we changed our layer from player to ignore collisions. We'll do the same thing, but we'll swap ignore collisions with player, just like this, and then that should be it for that. But after a certain period of the layer change delay, which is the 3 seconds, we want to go and call the change player layer. Does that make sense? So what we want to do is we want to say invoke, I think it is, invoke with the name of, and then we will give it the change player layer, and then we want to give it our layer change delay. So that is going to call our change player layer after a 3 second delay. So we'll save that, then we will jump back into our game and hopefully we'll see this working. So let's tick off some things here. So we've created time delay and then we turned on the collision after 3 seconds. Cool. So let's see if this works. We'll play the game. So now if this works properly, which it should, we should be able to play the game normally and collide with our asteroids at the very beginning of the game. But then, so if, okay, I missed those ones, so let's try that again. Let's see if we can collide with okay, let's not take it. Okay, so there we go, we collide with an asteroid. So now we have spawned back into the scene and you can see we can go through the asteroids, but then after a few seconds you get destroyed again, which is good. So if something like that happens where you spawn on top of an asteroid, we don't want you to be killed. So that is working perfectly fine. Obviously it's not going to spawn again because we run out of lives, but that is pretty much it for this episode. Like I said, this was a very short episode, just a few things to do which we have completed already in a 12-minute episode, which is nice. In the next episode we're going to be working on, I think it is making the explosion or the particle effect for when you collide with asteroids, not collide, but when you shoot the asteroids and they break, I think, or is it when you collide with asteroids, I can't remember. But that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode, so if that's something you want to watch and you're interested in, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you liked it, and turn your notifications on if you don't want to miss any next episodes. But yeah, that's it for this episode, so thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.